Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tech-Mex podcast. We're your hosts, Eric and Mando, and we're bringing you the top stories in Bitcoin, tech, and wealth. So you're armed with the hot takes on GPT-5, alien rocks, and the next big Bitcoin play. Dale. Hey,
Man, it's like
so
it's getting bananas, right? Lately, but I stop you. What do you want to say?
oh no, I was just gonna say, we've got a lot to talk about today. I think there's a lot of news. We wanted to talk a little bit about GTP5, how they're calling it, the next level PhD in your pocket, right? We've got some news on YouTube. There's some age checks that are coming. Some people aren't happy about how this is going to get rolled out. And then we've got the mysterious thing that's going through space. We're going to cover a little bit about that. And then just a little bit of background on some Bitcoin news. Harvard making a big play here. So lots going on. And then we may even have some Cybertrucks that are blowing up. So we'll get to that. But it's going to be a wild ride today.
Rockets, aliens, robots, AI shit. Like we're living in the future already, man. So
For sure.
let's get to the first headline, right? GPT-5. This was not the thing that some madman got fired for. Because
I know, right?
basically, yeah, that's one of the things that they were saying, right? That he was not truthful to the board, and maybe they didn't want OpenAI to release it. But yeah, it's quite interesting. The headlines basically say that OpenAI's PhD level meets a user backlash. What do you think that is going on? Why people? I mean, you have a PhD and you still don't like it.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, one, I think people saw that, hey, it's not as smart as I thought it was going to be. But of course, when you might think the same thing when you meet other PhD people.
I agree.
By the way, I didn't finish mine. Disclaimer: there's a backstory to it, but I get the sentiment there. But yeah, a lot of people are complaining. A lot of people are complaining about this new GPT-5, which was supposed to be like, oh, is this AGI? Is this the next big thing? And maybe it's not quite there.
It's not there. It's just taking us closer to AGI.
Mhm.
So uh, I think that in that point, it's going to be very obvious that you have it. But it's quite interesting because people are still afraid of AGI. But guess what? Let's say that if we get it. It's like having another human being. Not just because of that, you're going to be like, terrified. Yeah, you can clone it, but there is resources about it, right? Like, it's not like you can create an army of thousands of AGI at the moment. It's GPUs and TPUs behind the scenes. So it takes a lot of infrastructure to even power all of that.
And
I
have
have
that
a
rolled
strong
out.
opinions here though, which is like why you need a credential to tell you that you are a scientist. Why you need a credential. It's like, do you think that Elon Musk has a freaking like degree in rocket scientist? Like, of course not. Right? You just fucking do. Right? It's like, who is an institution to tell me if I can do science, right? So I don't know. Well, that's my point. Don't get me wrong. I think that schools, colleges, it helps, but that's kind of a very new way of doing things. A couple hundred years ago, right? Humanity only the humans we used to just do things, and then if you were a blacksmith, guess what? You just were a blacksmith, right? And so on, a carpenter, a fisherman, and all of that. You 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 basically the part that we lost though is apprenticeship, which I think that now with AI, that's what you can become. If it already has the knowledge of the degree or the thing that you want, then you start learning on what it is. Remember, right now is creativity. If you have the creativity and you know how to prompt to ask the machine, you can keep learning and accelerate your learning super fast, right? So, what's your take there?
Well, so I still do believe that there's value in that process and things like that. You basically learn a lot about different frameworks and how to implement them and how to get the most out of the time that you have while you're doing studies and things like that. Now, those things are also applicable to AI. Uh, right now it's not super transparent how these AIs, if they're trying to use frameworks and things like that that are well known and studied. But eventually, it's going to be so that we're asking AIs to create a framework, to ask it to really scrutinize that framework, what is missing from that framework. So it would be able to create frameworks on the fly to be able to generate the best ideas and things like that. Of course, we know all the papers that are used, that are referenced, and things like that to create these large language models that we've got today. But to a certain extent, it's still kind of a black box on the inside. So it's really, really interesting. But you know what? I'm glad I've got that PhD in my pocket. I don't have my paper written out. I feel I earned it for the most part, but I don't have it written out. It's nice to have it in my pocket, still on my phone or on my AI rig, right?
I can make a diploma for you if you want.
I might hang it up if you made it. I had, oh gosh, a friend of mine at work. It's like, oh, you got all these certificates. What do you do with them? I was like, I don't know. They're just a stack. I'll put them up for you. So put them all up. I covered the whole wall on my place at work. That caused, I think, probably a little bit of problem at work. They're like, Eric, why do you have all this crap on the wall? I was like, well, uh, for fun. I don't know. Someone else put it, but now they're just all in a drawer.
So I feel that this advancing super quick. I think that right now we used to have like 1 billion parameters, 4 billion, right? And now this GPT is 120 billion parameters, which is just bananas, the amount of data that they are processing. Um, Maybe here is something interesting for the audience. Don't get overwhelmed. It is advancing super fast, even for us techies. Usually, the techies are like, yeah, trying to wait for the next ones. It used to be the Moore's law. There is a law that basically we were duplicating processing power, and it was almost becoming every 6 months that we were seeing that process and that progress. Now it feels in weeks, like something that we it used to take months. Now it's just weeks or even days, right? So I think that we shouldn't lose track of the usefulness of the technology, and if you want to switch, right? And I think that that's the problem of the backlash, because uh, you might not be able to switch back and forth from the models. It's very likely that they don't have a lot of hardware to do that, and they are just replacing them some of that hardware, and it's only for the APIs. But that was one of the things that I noticed on ChatGPT UI, that you cannot go to GPT 4.0 or previous versions, basically.
Yeah, I think they thought they were doing us a solid. Honestly, they're like, yeah, because when you look, actually when you connect using the API, I mean, this is long ass list of different models, and if you're not familiar with them, you're gonna be like, well, what the hell? Which one do I use? Why are there so many? What do I need to do? And just make it easier. So I think they were trying to take that step, to Applefy, if I may say that, kind of take out the guesswork. I know they know better what we want here. Here's GPT-5. It's going to be kind of a single model, and it'll figure out what you want or what you need. I think that's what they had in their mind, just to simplify things. And I'm sure there's like infrastructure reasons why they wanted to do it too. But also, I think maybe they thought it was going to be easier. Well, I think in many cases, yes, for sure. But I know there's some people that had built something or that had a specific workflow already working and they wanted it to stick and stay there. They were using 4.0 and then it stopped working because 4.0 disappeared. They had to move to GPT-5. It wasn't giving the same kind of responses, so their workflows probably broke. They needed to go kind of fix things. So unintended consequences there. They wanted to surprise everybody. Maybe they shouldn't have surprised everybody when it comes to this. I know they already started rolling back. Okay, well, we're going to give you access again to 4.0. So 4.0 is back out there, I believe. And so for those of you that have built something off of that, it's back there. But also, one of the things that people notice is that So people said that it felt like a downgrade, that it got dumber.
Mm.
You know what? And in a similar fashion, the Cybertruck, I feel like after some updates, one of our last updates, I feel like the full self driving got worse, you know? And so, unintended consequences with some of this stuff. You don't exactly understand fully how everything works inside the black box. So things may not work exactly how you think. Now, I believe Sam Altman said he thinks it's not dumb anymore. They addressed something now on the second or third day. Now that we're on GPT-5, it should be smarter again. I
It
started using it, by the way, and I was working on a problem with GPT-4. I mentioned last week, like, oh my gosh, it's got these disconnects. It feels like the infrastructure is not strong enough to handle some of the queries that I'm putting in or some of the prompts that I'm putting in. I tried a GPT-5 and it actually solved that thing on the first day that I tried. So it is better. I saw that it was better. I didn't necessarily see that it was dumber, and also I felt like it was the throughput, the connection. It handled it better than what I was getting with four. So I don't know. Have you noticed any differences?
um, it feels very similar, right? Also, I think that some of the reviews are. Uh, it's one of those things that I feel that most people just consume, don't create. I'm being a little bit more empathetic for the OpenAI team, right? These guys are working very hard to keep continue because, like I said, right, almost it feels every week there is something new, and again you go to Reddit and there is a thread that is like, hey, GPT is horrible, right? Like it got like 5,000 like upvotes. It's like, motherfuckers, just get to
It took 5 days to build an app. It's like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. No.
I when I hear these things, I do feel that there is no appreciation for the technology, for the work that has been behind the scenes, right? Uh, and I think that is just that. It's like again, I have a maybe a soft spot for makers, entrepreneurs, creators, people that are pushing the boundaries, right? And I think that is the reviews or the backlash. It will get better. Right now, is I can tell you, it's gonna be the worst that it always could be because it's just going to continue to get better in each revision, right? So, but yeah, I am
That's
I
the hope.
use it every day. I am worried for Google. And once again, I always root for Google. I like a lot of their systems and their ecosystem. Yes, I know that they sell my data and all of that, but it's like, okay, for everything that I'm getting, sure, not a problem. Uh, but I feel that is like OpenAI is I don't want to say replacing it, but is it a different way, right? So we'll see that device that they're gonna come up in the next few months.
Yeah.
What is gonna be?
Johnny Ives and Sam Altman, right?
Yeah, they have
What
some
was it?
issues though. They have some issues because of there's some lawsuits internally that somebody presented a piece of hardware and they're trying
Was it
just
that glass phone?
uh,
The see-through one?
I remember that one. But yeah,
Well, yeah.
continue.
Well, okay, yeah. So either way, so despite a lot of the fact that GPT-5 is catching online on Reddit, um, there have been some independent folks that have done tests, and they are saying that no, it is actually better. However, for those of us that were hoping like, this is it, like GPT-5 is going to surprise us and be like AGI, and it's not that, right? So yes, it's not. It doesn't pose that catastrophic risk yet that it's going to be this runaway model that starts to improve itself and is going to take over the world. That's not it. Maybe that, but you know what? Maybe internally they built it and they handicapped it, but maybe they handicapped it too much. And that's why it's like, oh shit, we made it too dumb. So he had to tweak the knob a little bit, raise raise the smartness dial. And he's like, they're able to do that. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. But in any case, I believe it's Meter, the METR, that group. They're the ones that said, you know what? They tested to because of course we know that the AI now is able to kind of like lie or hide stuff in order to make their master, the user, um, you know, not be mad at them for not doing a good job. Because before we saw that GPT was sandbagging a little bit, like they're like, "Oh, let me make this problem seem harder than it is," and then like I'll answer with the right problem, and my user will be very happy with me and that I solved their problem and did a good job. Right? They saw it doing that previously, and so they're testing this, right, to see, make sure it's being still being transparent with us, the users, making sure it doesn't have like ulterior motives, make sure it's not doing something behind the scenes that we're not aware of. So that's the good part of this. We mentioned that AI 2027 documentary that's out there, or a YouTube video. Y'all check it out if y'all haven't. But these are things we got to watch out for if we want to make sure it stays aligned, right?
By the way,
Aligned.
you cannot say master anymore.
Oh shit, my bad.
I don't know these days. Well, are we back to use it?
Well, thanks for calling that out, Mando.
No, it's just now the words that they're using is operator.
Operator.
and, and and this is a little bit of tech industry, by the way. Before, maybe 5 years ago or six, or even maybe something like that, in GitHub, for the audience, it's still, now it's owned by Microsoft, but they used to put a lot of the source code there. It's basically a revision history to be able to see what changed on the code. And one of the things, they have the branches, so that way you can see the versions of the branches. And they used to be kind of the master branch, and they changed it to main branch. And again, it was because we were kind of getting too woke.
Yeah. Well,
And then everything just was going there, and everything got changed into anything that said. And also, again, this is in tech, right? Because we used to use a lot.
bedroom also. Now it's primary bedroom, right?
And the other one is the even in the hard drives, when you used to have two drives, you used to say a master and a
Oh, yeah.
slave. And again, they start telling us, no, just use primary and secondary, right? So, at the end of the day, it's just, you have to just go with kind of a little bit of the society, what it regulates. Again, those type of things we're just using tech. But yeah, anyways, that was a little side story about those keywords.
Interesting. Yeah. Good reminder. So anyways, we're still using GPT-5. We're going to see kind of what it brings. I've seen some early wins with it, so I'm happy with that. Like Mando says, I mean, GPT-5 keeps steadily crawling up. Google's got their hands full, though. I will say Google's no slouch. They made a bunch of releases recently too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it seems like they've got so many products. They're going wide, I think, rather than like deep on one thing, which it could help them in the long run, right? But I use all of them, so I'm happy with it. A lot of them I pay, some of them are free, but I like all the tools that we've
It
got to
has
work
no
with now. It
soul,
really
man.
speeds things up.
Gemini has no soul.
You want the little checkbox that says whisper sweet nothings in my ear.
No, dude, it's just, think about it. Like this planet, right, is built for humans. Everything that we are like modifying is for our 5 fingers, right? Whatever, right, in each hand, right? So it's like the sizes, right? You don't see humans to be like 10 feet tall, right? No, it's just, there is some averages and all of that. So all of the infrastructure is built for that. Like I mentioned it like in couple episodes before. You don't like robots to be like, look like insects, because they're like, you get like threatened or scary, right? Similar here, the voice has to be pleasant. It has to be in a way that you can. So in this case, when it's
Like
robotic,
Eve in Grok.
I know that your car has a crush
It
on
was
me,
like,
man.
hi, Eve. I said, by the way, that was Mondo talking to you, not Eric. we went golfing earlier the weekend. Mando was having some fun conversations with my Grok AI
I was
Eve.
telling Eve, evil's evil's Eve, uh, it's like, hey, why you're flirting with me? And then she was even more flirty.
Oh yeah, in your mind,
Ah,
maybe, I don't
yeah.
know. No, I was driving with my mother-in-law, and she was like, "Why does it have a sexy voice?" I
I'm
I
telling
was like,
you.
"That's just how it talks. It's not sexy."
And Ramirez is like, what's different of that? It's like, I just it's normal.
That's how everyone talks to me. Right? I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't know.
But moving on AI, dude. Do you remember Red Eye, the robot?
No,
Uh,
I don't know that one.
there is a couple movies, right? You have from Sonic. There was this robot that has like literally a red eye, uh, and basically you hear that to be a police, a robot that
Hmm.
is kind of like bad, but you're just
Hmm.
trying to. I mean, at the end of the day,
The
the robot.
Danger Will Robinson, that one, I forget what it was called, right?
So
The Space Odyssey or something.
yeah, yeah. So the right now, when I saw this headline, now basically the YouTube is gonna roll out an age check for basically online that word is difficult for me. Basically, for teenagers or kids, is trying to detect their age, right? So
Big Brother,
it's Big
Big
Brother, man.
Brother.
It's like, what do you think about that, right? Like, what's your take there?
Okay, so, uh, you know what? Honestly, I don't know. Uh, Having like nieces and nephews that are super young, and I've seen some of the stuff that they're pulling up on YouTube or whatever, and they're able to get around like a lot of the things that the parents put into place. Kids are smart and they're like digital native. They understand how to do everything right already. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like a good idea to be seen like chopping people up or whatever. Like there's a lot of scary like weird things on the internet. So in a way, I think YouTube, yeah, it, to a certain extent, it makes sense that it's like trying to do this age verification because I've seen some weird things and like our feeds are pretty well structured already. We're only getting like AI, robotics, things like that, longevity, health, Bitcoin. And on I know you got Jizz on your feed too,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
kids is probably all wide open. It's not as established, so YouTube's just gonna send them the weirdest shit that's on the internet. So I think what, it might be a good idea for it to start doing some basic stuff. I don't know how far they're planning on going. Have you heard of what they plan on doing yet?
Then go to China, man. That's if you're gonna be watch. It's
No,
like
not me. Them.
exactly.
Not for me. For them.
I'm just having empathy for
Do it
a
for the kids. Do
yeah,
it for
for
the
a
kids,
young
Mando.
10, 12 years old, like that. I'm just gonna get, what is the cocomelon shit, like that. Like, I will puke that even when I'm a 10-year old, right? Like,
Like that tuk tuk tune thing that you showed
it's
me.
like
Tuk
there
tuk
is.
tune. What is tuk tuk tune? That shit looks scary. I was like, what is that? What is it doing? That seems like
Yeah, when
the
we
stuff
were
nightmares are
when
made
we were
from.
meeting with Jenny Hoyos, right, the famous short queen YouTuber, I showed her a clip of the Tong 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 Sahor,
Yeah,
and she
whatever
was like,
that thing
"What?"
was. Even Jenny didn't know what that was.
But that thing is like underground on the kids, man. I have two teenagers, right? So it's like I can get all of the stuff that they get
You can
like
stay
right now.
young.
I can stay young with even their lingo. That's what I'm saying. That actually this generation, it's very creative. It's very apologetic, right? And uh, I do feel that they don't have some of the traumas or whatever on the previous generations, right? They might have different issues, but
Mhm.
I do feel that is we were going in a very sad, depressed kind of outlook, and these guys laugh at that, right? Like, nah, it's like they are taking a different approach. So, but going back, after I read that, my daughter was like, "Hey, you have to talk in the pod about this because this is bad. Like they're gonna tag me as a kid, and I don't want just kids content, right?" So, and I feel that maybe as a parent, it depends on your child. So I want YouTube to ask me, who are you, YouTube, to tell me what my kid can watch or not, right? Like if I'm granting permission and I'm the parent and I'm guiding, ask me, right? Like, so I do feel that maybe if I want to put some passwords or some codes to have some uh, protection there, it's fine, right? Like I'm the adult, I'm the one that's supposed to. Uh, I don't feel that a company should dictate, right? And I know that there are some rules and some regulations that they have to follow depending on the regions, but still, like I don't know. This is go against my own beliefs of freedom. We live in America.
America.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To a certain extent, I agree with you. But I think part of it is it's always comes back to money. It probably has to do with ads. The people that are like paying for ads are like, I don't want to pay an ad to show it to a five. They're not gonna buy anything. That's probably what it comes down to. Is like these advertisers are saying, I need to lower that bill, make that bill a little bit lower. Make sure that I'm actually hitting the target demographic. It probably has to do with that a bit
I
more.
think that think about it. This is just the beginning, right? They're gonna do it to us, right? Like you're gonna see like cameras on the streets that they're gonna keep following you, like in China, right? Like they
Going
win.
to? I'm pretty sure that's already going on. Have you seen those movies?
I guess, but still, there is no, like access. You're thinking like they can even tap into our cameras at home, and all of
You didn't see
that.
the Netflix movie War? It was it War of the Worlds? It just came out. It's got
Uh-huh,
like
I
Ice
have not.
Cube. He's the main character. Eva Longoria. It's funny.
Hmm.
It's like a little cheesy, but it's good,
Right.
and it has to do kind of like with surveillance and stuff like that. It's interesting, funny,
It is
fun
tough.
movie.
I think that they're gonna apply it to adults too, surveillance, right? With different sentinels, like freaking drones and shit. Like it's like
He's
I don't know.
walking funny. Go get him. So we're like a Minority Report,
In that
the precognition.
in that point is like, okay, China, US, right, trying to control everyone. It's like, well, where should I go next, right? I'm a citizen of the human. I'm a human, right? So I'm a citizen of the planet Earth.
Are you sure? Sometimes I wonder.
Okay,
Are you come from that comet that's going around right now?
all right, all right.
Speaking of, so have you seen the latest headlines on
Of
this?
course, man. I like aliens.
You have to keep up with your hometown, right? So what's it called? 3i Atlas.
It's from Atlas, yeah. It's like these names that they put, like it feels like the GPT 4, oh,
Oh, Mini.
like
It's just like, what are these names from? Okay, so well, in case y'all haven't heard about this one, there's a new uh, potential alien spaceship. Some people are saying no, it's just a big rock. There's a controversy that's going on right now about this interstellar object that seems to be headed our way, like towards our solar system. So it's named, I think, the 3i because it's the third one, third interstellar 3i. It's the third interstellar object that we believe we've like found or been able to scope. And so it's recently been discovered, and it's a big find on its own. But they're saying, is this like an alien probe type of thing? I know we recently heard about the Umanuma one. That I don't know that we really put too much effort into studying, but I know the Harvard professor Avi Loeb was saying, "Hey, I think that's probably an alien. That's a UFO. That's something like that." But we kind of left it at that.
yeah. So
What are
so
your thoughts?
maybe,
What do you think?
well, it's the interesting part is because usually objects they will get moved around with different masses and all of that, and this one it just has a trajectory that is parabolic. It doesn't, and in space there is not a lot of uh, things that do the same thing. That's the reason why they think that that maybe it might be say, a spaceship or something that is was ignited. So it's moving super fast. That was the other thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually it will not decelerate because there is a very low friction, but it's traveling almost 61 kilometers per second, so which is quite fast.
For
So
Americans, 137,000 miles an hour.
yeah,
It's
so
fast, right?
imagine that like. So I mean again it just almost looks like out of a movie, right? Like then you're gonna have like freaking Bruce Willis trying to go and attack it and explode it, right? And that's basically what they're trying to do, you know. They're trying to send some NASA hardware, right, to intercept it. So start looking like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it could. I'd be interested. Like, I wonder if we're going to try to dedicate some resources to actually study it. I think it's kind of cool to point out that uh, the it was spotted by a telescope in Chile. I think, and I know that they do these collaborations where they point all the different telescopes from different parts of the world towards one area, and they start scanning to try and to do to study a little bit more about these things that they may see. So I think that's kind of cool. um that it seems to be working, but this one is going to be coming kind of close to us, to Earth. So I think that's why some people are like a little bit more worried, because they're like, well, it seems like it's like coming just straight at us.
Mhm.
um
Well, that's the other thing, though. Right now, kind of they have been very open with a lot of the news. Not 100% open, but before it's like shut up, don't talk about it, right? And now
mhm,
they are kind of releasing and very like uneventful things. Sometimes the media doesn't even pick it up, right? They don't even want to say anything, but the things are there. Uh,
mhm.
I feel that maybe they are preparing, and I also think that maybe humanity is like, yeah, we kind of knew this, right? So unless they are like here and they are like threatening us, hey, we're gonna do this, right? So I don't know. It's hard to right now. It's just a lot of speculation.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's some conspiracy thoughts around this, right?
You
So
don't like
there's
those,
there's
huh?
a there's a few reasons why people are like suspect, right? They're like, wait a minute. So one, it's going to be very close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. So like the path or trajectory that it's taking, it just so happens to take it super close to all those three planets, in such a way that the chance of that happening just by chance is 0.005%. So super minuscule chance of that happening just randomly. Okay. So people say, well, is it doing it on purpose? Is it doing that to drop off measurement devices, or collecting measurement devices, or trying to scope something out specifically for those planets? All right. Another point of concern, or an evidence point here that maybe it's more than just a big rock, is they're saying that maybe it's coming in as stealth mode, because it's coming in a way that it's going to be hidden by the sun to us. So in a way, it'll be very difficult for us to view it directly, if at all, during its one of the closest approaches. It's going to happen to be hidden by the sun. And so, if you were trying to do something without people on Earth noticing, you would happen to plan your trip in a way so that the little meat bags on Earth can't really see what's going on, because the sun is obscuring everything. So that's also something else that people are thinking. Maybe something else is going on. And then third, if this is a comet, they're saying it's being classified as a comet right now. It doesn't have all the telltale signs that it's a comet. Like when they're doing the spectroscopy on it, it doesn't have the same evidence for water and other volatiles that you might normally see, like the gases and things like that you might see in a comet, or in the comet's coma, right? The little tails. So you want to make that, those are the things that people are like saying, something is not like the others, and so that's why the 3i Atlas is getting a lot of attention right now.
I was trying to look for the different size, right? Some they speculate that it could be between, I don't know, as small as 320 meters, or in some cases, if you account some of the trail, it might be even several kilometers, maybe 24
Mhm.
kilometers. So kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of too big. I'm trying to figure out, well, uh, if it is that big, it will be kind of hard to move. Anything that we have been developing ourselves, human beings, is way smaller than this, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I always try to take everything with a grain of salt, but it's just the part that is interesting is that it's moving differently than
Mhm.
the usually other objects. So which you cannot ignore, right? These are the type of things that you have to investigate.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to point out at this point in time in our timeline, I think people are a lot more open. It's becoming a little bit more mainstream to talk about UFOs, aliens, UAPs like that. It's been in Congress. You know, they've done open talks about it. So uh, I think the public is becoming a little bit more ready to hear more about it, right? There's some interest in it. So I think there's some push from the public to study this potential thing that's coming towards us to see, is there something else going on? So 65% of Americans and 58% of surveyed astrobiologists uh, do believe that intelligent aliens do actually exist. So there is, people are open and ready. They're trying, they feel perhaps that there's some things that are being obscured, perhaps by the government, by other areas, but a lot of it is starting to come out through these congressional talks that are going on, where they're asking the questions, trying to see, what can be actually exposed to the public.
This is the time where Ramirez always puts his tinfoil. Oh, I don't understand. Maybe I don't have the context. When did they start the tinfoil? Do you happen to know
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know it.
the
But
history or the background? You know what? It would be the funny part that if that shit works.
right.
It's like if they cannot telepathically,
you
like
know,
control you, and just with that shit will actually.
it worked as the rabbit ears on the old antennas. Remember, you put foil on there, you get better signals.
I
So
mean,
there's something to
there
it,
is
right?
something to it for sure. So, anyways, moving on. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about crypto. It has been very uneventful. We have been kind of stagnated a little bit in the hundreds, right? It crashed 1%. I always laugh.
Stagnated. It's only 115,000. It's so stagnant right now.
It's like I just hear people because and the reason why is just the people that they just got in when they are in 100K, right? 100.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So it's like
I was really scared when I got in at 25 and it went down to 20. I'm like, oh shit.
like you say.
I'm gonna lose all my investment.
That's right. So
No, I don't really remember when. Yeah, it's something like that.
but I think that what we are seeing more is the shift of paper hands to diamond hands, right? And some of that is big institutions, and I don't think that they are diamond hands. I think that they are more like more rock,
Rock,
a rock like black rock, I
Uma
guess.
Numa hands, 3i Atlas hands, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Which maybe they will not sell it like right away because they have to go through the red tape and things like that. So there is a headline. Basically Harvard. Yeah, like the university. I guess they're smart, huh? They are now they have in their retirement fund uh, the ETF, and I was trying to look the amount, and I think that it was 100. Yeah, it is here, 116 millions for the Bitcoin BlackRock ETF. I told you, man, if you go back to to our own pod, we were thinking of the different ETFs, and my money was on the BlackRock one, right? Those guys know how to play the Wall Street game, and I mean, here it is, right? A lot of the even in this institutional money is investing on the BlackRock one. So
Mhm.
uh, it's not surprising to me. I think that actually I was expecting this to keep happening, and retirement funds across, it's a lot of money. What do you think about it?
I think it's. I mean, yes, we all knew this was coming, right? But I think what is even more significant is really to understand uh, what this means in terms of Harvard. You might think, oh, Harvard's got a lot of money. Yeah, 160 million is not that big, but no, it's actually 8%. It's significant of
Hmm.
their. It's 8% of their U.S. listed assets that they're putting into IBIT, and so it's even surpassing their other investments like gold. Like so, it's not they're not just dipping their toe. It's like they're putting their whole foot in right now. You know, so that's I think that really does say something. It's a good thing to see that. You know, good sign.
Well, it seems suspicious to me. It looks a little bit sus, like that Trump opened basically the gate for the 401k, and basically Harvard is closed in August 7, right? Just a little bit before, right? Trump did that. So, like, man.
They just had really good intuition, maybe. What are you saying, Mando?
I'm not implying anything. The audience can think whatever they want to think, right? Who am
They
I?
can connect their own dots, huh?
Exactly. Who am I to tell them what to think, right? So it's just, man, but for sure, right? It looks suspicious. Anyways, I'm not complaining. I do feel that that's the right move for everyone, and more because if they are able to truly create gold out of thin air, right? A bunch of different news before that they actually found ways to do it. Maybe not in a capital efficient way, but
Right.
I mean, the price of gold could decline, right? And not even that, the the amount of gold that
Maybe
they have.
Three Eye Atlas is gonna dump a bunch of gold on the moon or something, and like we just gotta go grab it.
I
I don't
guess.
know.
Well, even all of the reserves that they have found in different places lately. So, if there is more supply, obviously, the price will. I don't want to say go down, but at least it will not rise. So I think that is a good move. There is a lot of money in retirement. Like I'm trying to find the amount, but it was in the trillions. It was like a 30 or 40 trillions. Just putting a percentage of that, 1%, let's say, on all of that 401k market, man, it's just almost 10 trillions, right? Which it will easily duplicate the price of Bitcoin. And again, we are not financial advisors. We are not telling you to just go and YOLO all of your 401k into Bitcoin.
Hmm.
But we are seeing this trend right now. All of these large institutions, and that's the reason why I think that we consider that has been very stable uh, in the last, I guess, year or so, because all of this, and we kind of speculate that, and but yeah, we are seeing it on real life.
Yeah, I think it's so. What's key here? You might say, well, we already had IBIT. Like, what's the difference with like what's the change? Like, why are 401ks now like being able to do this? So here's the thing. Before, again, from one administration to the next, it was like a 180, right? Previously, the Department of Labor was warning. They were warning all of these retirement providers. You better not offer crypto in in your plans. If you do, we could hold you personally responsible if it doesn't go right. You know, right? So there was. It may not have been like in writing in a bill, but it was an open stance by the Department of Labor that said, "Don't do it, or we're going to hold you responsible." So, of course, to play it safe, these people weren't allocating to Bitcoin or to crypto in general. Of course, now with this the latest executive order. Now they're saying no, we do want to have crypto, we do want to have Bitcoin in the retirement plans into the 401k. The current administration has already said that they want the U.S. to be the biggest main player for Bitcoin and some other crypto assets as well in the whole world.
The
So they've
biggest, the
made
most
that
beautiful.
is the biggest, is the best. So we know, and so that change has now made it easier. That's really what the key is. They're like, okay, it should be safe for us to go ahead and put this in here, 401k, and maybe this Harvard thing was part of the marketing or the plan to encourage others to do it. In terms of, look, it's safe. Even Harvard's doing it. They're doing 8%. It's not just a little bit.
Even Harvard is doing it. They
Even
are
Harvard
smart.
is doing it. They're smart. They're smart. We know this. Some of the smartest people I know. So I think this is, you know, this is part of the dance and show that's going on here, right? But like you mentioned, trillions of dollars, even at small percentages, 1%, 5%, it's likely to move the price, have it some volatility come back. I know we've been pretty stable at certain price points, so it might provide just what some people were looking for. You know, it's a
um,
big paradigm shift. Big
for
paradigm
sure,
shift.
and I think that sometimes you just have to ride the waves, all right? And if the big players, current administration, who has the power in this case is BlackRock, right? They're making bets. You can make those bets. Even doesn't matter how much money you have, right? Like uh, I was telling my barber, right? It's because like, ah man, no, until I'm rich, like bro, you just need $60, right? That's what IBT is. Just
That's how
install.
you get rich.
Yeah, exactly. You just install freaking like
Mhm.
Robinhood, right? And in like in your mobile, and then just start buying it whenever you want or can, right? So I feel that maybe that's kind of the. Sometimes I hear people thinking that you have to have a lot of money to start investing, which is not true. You can start investing with $60 in this case for that, right? And once again, this is not a financial advice.
No financial advice. We're just investors, right?
Yes.
But if you are interested, we did have some videos that we did, several months back, talking about how you can go into something like Schwab and do some paper trading or some fake money so you can get comfortable doing options, things like that. Look up those resources. It doesn't have to be ours, but look up resources. I feel like this industry has been gate kept a little bit, and people just assume like I can't do that, or I don't have enough
Mhm.
money, or it's super complicated, or I'm gonna, the list goes on. When really, if you just take an hour, think about it, read about it, and visit a website, set up an account, within a few hours you can get something going. It doesn't have to be super complicated.
I mean, I am very empathetic because now with the prices, think about it. One coin, let's just round it off for 100K. If we are saying that people want to put maybe 8 to 10%, that means that somebody has to have a million. So I understand why they're coming from, right? But the good news is that you can buy sats. You don't have to get a full Bitcoin. Don't see the price as oh, this is like 100K. I don't have 100K, right? So no, the whole idea on Bitcoin is that we can slice it for the sats. So and it's just fractions of fractions of fractions, right? So you can just get a tiny chunk. And again, I feel that everybody is just thinking, all right, so this is a currency, a digital currency that will help to not be pegged to anything. That Russia, China, U.S., Brazil, Mexico, they can say, you know what, this is something that we can trade with. It used to be the dollar, and the dollar used to be pegged to almost oil and gold. But those commodities, again, because all of the geopolitical uh, problems that has been happening, that's the reason why cryptocurrencies are becoming that backbone of the finance system. So uh, it is quite interesting. I want to make a couple points here. We mentioned it in previously that it was very weird why we are paying taxes, right? Because in America, uh, paying taxes is basically we are valuing the dollar based on whatever we wanted, right? Before, when it was pegged to gold, then you basically can value that. But now that basically we need more money, we just print more money, and that's what it has been happening. So why we will have to pay taxes, right? And that was Bukele. Bukele in a conference, he was saying, "Hey, you know why? Why you guys Americans are paying taxes when you guys can raise the value and print money whatever you want, right?" Which, good point. So, but now another interesting one is, why do we need banks? Like, think about it. If we have digital wallets, we don't need the bank, the intermediary, right? In this case, if the Federal Reserve assign a wallet to each person in America, they can just transfer the money and send those internally. Before, they needed the banks to be kind of the mediators and even to lend those money. But guess what? They also lend money to the banks, and we're probably gonna get more interest than actually going to the directly to the bank. Those are the interesting two things that it could make it more efficient, the whole finance
Yeah.
institutions.
Those are some thought provoking items there. Of course, pay your taxes, number one. I don't think that's what Mando was saying, but
That's
pay
right.
your taxes, number one. Of course, you're going to do that. But it's just funny the system that we've built, is what I think Bukele was saying from El Salvador, right? The El Salvador president. Is just that we got this funny system where we inflate everything and yet we're still having to pay taxes. Why doesn't the government just make more money and pay for everything that we need? If I mean, it's we're just kind of moving money from one place to the other, but they're secretly already taxing us anyways by inflating money. So it's an interesting concept, and who knows if we're going to get to the point where it becomes part of like the public's like consciousness that, hey, that's how money works, is the government kind of inflates it away at a constant 3 to 30% depending on the year and COVID and stuff like that. But that's how money works. That's why there's some good books out there that really explain this. Bitcoin Standard, there's some other good ones. You guys look them up, do some reading, and just to understand how money works. Just because, for the most part, people understand. You go to a job, they give you money, you pay for food and housing, and movie tickets or whatever you want, whatever you spend your money on. But there is something more to it, and that's kind of what keeps the government running in a certain way. So it's interesting to understand it, because once you understand how it works in the background, you start questioning certain things. You're like, well, why is this like this? Or why does it have to be this way? Why does it have to be so hard?
or
Let's
or
like
in or the opposite
streamline
though.
things.
Or sometimes you just go with the flow. Be like
Yeah.
water, right? Just like if everybody's kind of moving in one direction, it might be it's like literally you're trying to swim. Why would you try to swim upstream, right? When they're when the water is pushing. And I feel that right now Bitcoin is like that. It's like, maybe if you are against it, it's like, look at the signs, look at the things, right? Like why others are doing it, right? And I know that sometimes it's hard because that's what sometimes the degens come, all of them, and it becomes a bubble, right? Because they are trying to just speculate and get in and get out very quickly, and that's what it creates, the kind of the bubble. But yeah, anyways, I think that that's a couple things there for crypto. And finally, we have the Cybertruck. This headline was very interesting, though. So the government wants to get some Cybertrucks, and they want to use them like targets, like missiles targets. So
Target practice. Come on, man. Come on, man.
obviously, they saw Elon attacking the Cybertruck. Like, I want that.
I can imagine Elon like at one of these parties talking to one of these military people. He's like, I got a little bit of inventory of Cybertrucks. How can I get rid of them? I know. And he pitches to the military guy. What do you think of target practice with Cybertrucks?
You you need
It's
you
just
need
like
a stainless steel to
they
practice to
create
see.
demand.
You need to see how it will behave with the stainless steel to see a very solid car, how they will the impact right with the missiles. I don't
Well,
know, man,
someone
but
bit. It worked.
it worked. It's like holy shit, that guy is like can make shit happen, right? Anyways, there is a contract, right? And for this, and there are not that many, maybe like 30 or something Cybertrucks in the contract. Basically, it is stipulated that they should not have batteries because they are like targets. They're gonna exploit them. They're gonna be targets, and they should be only shells. So basically the containers, right? So they just need to toll truck them. So, but it's the whole thing is just funny, right? It's just a bunch of friends, probably as you say, in a party, right? In a gala.
In their bow ties. But the reasoning is kind of interesting because they're saying, yes, the Cybertruck is super tough, right? I think we saw evidence of this of one of the guys that set off an explosive in a
Hmm.
Cybertruck, and was that New
And like
Orleans, I believe,
Vegas, no, in Vegas,
in Vegas, and they saw that the Cybertruck largely, was intact,
contain it. Yeah, I contained the whole blast.
and so, knowing that the Cybertruck is a tough truck, despite what some of these other videos, what's the no, the mutter tougher mugger, whatever the channel is that he was, dragging the Cybertruck from its tail. Despite these videos that you see saying, it's not tough, it is a pretty rugged vehicle, and they want to test the missiles against something like the Cybertruck because obviously with the designs of the Cybertruck, seeing how strong it was, there might be other countries that are starting to develop similar type of
Do you
trucks that
mean
have these angles and things like that that make it hold up and make it very strong.
Whistling Diesel or the YouTuber?
Whistling, that's his name. Whistle Pig. No, that's the
No,
whiskey.
Whistling Diesel.
Whistling Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking of.
Uh,
And so,
I,
it's kind of cool.
It is cool for sure, right? Like, it would be interesting to see if we can see the results on how they're able to put up with the with the views. So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
start off with the guy throwing the ball at the window and it breaking, and then go to the missile.
For the audience, if you haven't seen, there is an Easter egg. You go into the Cybertruck and just tap it into the window on the display. Just tap it, and then you start hearing like Elon when he actually tried to put the ball right, the
Like,
baseball.
well, there's room for improvement. Right. You got to spin it somehow.
I mean, he's a good showman, you know.
Oh yeah, it's too funny. Well, some people might say, why are we wasting money? Government wasting money on buying these trucks, but it's I'm sure we've wasted a lot more doing other things. This seems to be like some good R&D. We want to see how our missiles do with something like the Cybertruck, especially because it's so different and it may be like a new way of building these vehicles, and we'll see how they work against them. Pretty interesting.
I think that we have a good one, man.
I think so. I'm ready to see that 5-star rating for the Cybertruck go up, though. Yeah, we've got a good one today. If y'all liked our content, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. We love to see the notes that you guys leave for us. Sergio, I'm glad you appreciated our talk on AI. That's what we hope to bring out there. We do see your comments, and we do appreciate you guys sharing the love with us. If you guys have Cybertrucks yourselves and you want to order something, check out our links. We do appreciate that those funds that do come from those purchases do help run things like Riverside and things like that for us. So keep it coming. Also, go show some love on our 18,000 plus views on our Bitcoin ultimate high videos. They're lots of fun. We've made lots of them actually, but there's one that has really caught on. Keep checking those out. We know the next all-time high is just around the corner. That's all we got. We'll see y'all next time. Dale.
Peace.